Winning a lottery might feel amazing at first, but what you don't know is your brain adapts very quickly. And before you know it, you've used that money to cope with your unhappiness, you're broke again, and you're back to baseline happiness. And that is why you see so many people who have won lotteries or gone on to play professional sports ending up broke and unhappy. Because happiness doesn't come from how much money you have. Happiness comes from how you live your life. And in this video, this is the part 2 of why you're unhappy and what to do about it. Last time we left off with a big question. If so much of our happiness is tied to our genes, then how can we actually be happy? We've talked about the elephant and the rider metaphor, how the elephant represents our emotions and instincts. It's big, powerful, and often hard to steer. And the rider represents our rational thinking. It tries to guide the elephant, but it often ends up being pulled along. However, the good thing is you can train your elephant, and this video will definitely cover how to do that. And I also mentioned that happiness really boils down to 3 key ingredients: love, adversity, and virtue, or divinity. So today, let's keep going and see how all of these pieces come together. One of the strongest forces of human happiness is reciprocity, or in simple terms, I help you, you help me. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's the glue that holds friendships, communities, even societies together. Without reciprocity, there is no trust. We're programmed to build trust through giving and receiving. So, how does reciprocity affect our everyday lives? Let's take a look at this study. Robert Cialdini, a psychologist, conducted an experiment where he sent Christmas cards to strangers. He found that a surprising amount of recipients sent him a card in return. Cialdini sees reciprocity as a biological reflex. Like other animals, humans rely on reciprocity to trust each other. If you do something for me, then I'll do something for you. This allows us to form cooperative relationships with strangers, to make friends, to make large societies work, because we feel like when someone's reciprocated something nice we've done for them, we feel like we can trust them. But reciprocity isn't always pure. It can be manipulated. Just think of businesses using sales tactics like giving you samples, free samples, so that they can get you to buy their product. Or say they give you a discount, but really it's already marked up and so that it looks like a discount. Or think of a friend who might have gotten you something, but really it's for themselves. Has that ever happened to you before? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know. Next, let's talk a little bit about self-awareness. Can self-awareness make us happier? Science says that we're more likely to view ourselves favorably than we are to view others favorably. As Buddha says, it's easy to see the faults of others and more difficult to see one's own fault. This also reminds me of a Bible verse from Matthew 7:5. Take the plank out of your own eye before you can see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. When we have no self-awareness, this can cause a lot of conflict around us. So what happens when we have a lot of egoism? In a study at Cornell University, students were asked to predict how many flowers they would buy for an upcoming charity event. Then they were asked to estimate how many the average Cornell student would buy. Students grossly overestimated their own contribution, but they were able to predict pretty accurately what the average student would do. Even after being told the amount of flowers they actually bought, students continued to overestimate their own virtue. Here's the problem. We have to let go of our egos. If we constantly think more of ourselves than others, it can breed resentment and make it harder to form bonds with others. In order to be happy, you need to better recognize your self-serving bias and how to navigate it. Like thinking that you're always right, because that's not possible to always be right. And if you think you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Bada bing, bada boom. Next, let's think about this question. Will hiding from our reality make us happier? ancient philosophers thought so. As humans, we are experts at hiding from reality when it threatens our happiness. We reframe things, rationalize them, or explain it away to protect how we view ourselves. But the wild thing is, no matter what we do, we tend to end up back to baseline happiness. Ancient wisdom holds that to be happy, we need to ignore our external reality. When things go badly, we should accept that some things are out of our control. And when things go well, we should remember that our luck might shift. But modern science says this isn't exactly the case. So, which external realities affect our happiness and which don't? Studies show that people who win the lottery experience a huge spike in happiness, but within about a year, they return to the same general level of happiness as before. The same is true for people who suffer tragic losses. Even losing a limb, within time, most adjust back to their baseline. This is called hedonic adaptation. Our brains adapt very quickly to the highs and the lows. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt introduces the happiness equation to show us what we can change to increase our happiness. Happiness equals set point biological plus conditions plus voluntary activities. Your set point is your biological predisposition to be happy. Your elephant, your temperament, your genes, your emotions, your instincts, your family tree. Conditions are things that tend to remain constant throughout your life. Say, where you live or where you work, where you get an education. There are conditions that you cannot change, like your race and your age. But you can change where you live or where you work. And the V stands for voluntary activities, but we'll get to that in a second here. Let's talk about conditions. For example, people tend to move far away from their jobs to find bigger homes. Studies show people don't adapt to the stress of traffic-filled commutes no matter how long they lived there. They continue to arrive at work with higher levels of stress hormones. So transitioning into a smaller home closer to their job is a condition that they can change to increase their happiness. Voluntary activities is another thing you can change about your external environment. You should try to find activities that play to your strength but also challenges you. For example, if you love learning, you should definitely take advantage of all the free education available right here on YouTube. Or you could read more books. Or you could use your time to help others through volunteering or acts of kindness. Studies show that people who give more than they receive tend to experience more benefits in their mood and more long-term happiness. Another important ingredient to happiness is love. In the 20th century, Freudians cautioned parents not to show their children too much love. They believed that if their children got too attached, that they would become weak and spoiled. But modern science says we need secure attachment to be happy. This is demonstrated in a study in the 1930s with Harry Harlow and his baby monkeys. He experimented on baby monkeys that were recently taken from their mothers. He realized that they were behaving differently compared to the other monkeys. They were listless and under-socialized. He wondered if the loss of their mothers was responsible for these effects. To test this, he placed two fake mothers in the monkeys' cages. One was a mother made of a bundle of wire with a milk bottle attached. The other was a bottle of cloth that provided comfort. The monkeys clung to their cloth mother, particularly if frightened or threatened. He realized the monkeys didn't miss their mothers because they provided food. They missed their mothers because they provided comfort. He found similar patterns in children who had been separated from their mothers. They needed to attach to a parental figure to feel secure and happy. And from this experiment was born the attachment theory. Attachment theory also extends to our romantic lives. Studies show we need to feel safe and securely attached to our partners to be happy. In fact, there's a specific hormone that enables it. It's the love hormone called Oxytocin. It helps mothers bond to their babies and for lovers to bond with each other. It literally wires us for connection, and with connection comes happiness. Now, let's talk a little bit about adversity. Can overcoming adversity make us happier? Imagine you lost a loved one. Before, you probably thought you wouldn't ever survive something so devastating. But then you do. This is one benefit of adversity. It shows us the strength that we didn't think we have. And it helps us to tackle future adversity and overcome traumas quickly. In fact, research says adversity has other benefits. For example, adversity can act as a filter. When you're going through something heavy, adversity shows you who your real friends are, and it helps us to develop a deeper appreciation for the people that stick around. The next piece is virtue. Ancient philosophers like Aristotle argue that happiness isn't found from chasing pleasure. It is found from cultivating character. When we live with integrity, practice self-control, strive to become better people, we create a deeper sense of fulfillment in life. And this doesn't mean that we strive to be perfect. What it means is that we align our lives with values that matter to us. Do you know what your values are? Because many people walk around not knowing what their values are. They pick up on values from society and friends or family, and they just go along with it, not even realizing that their lives and their values are not aligned. Next is divinity. Can divinity make you happier? Divinity is our connection to something greater than ourselves. No matter how religious or not religious we are all influenced by divinity. As humans, we have a specific emotional response when we experience divinity, and this emotion is called elevation. People describe elevation as an uplifting feeling that is warm or pleasant. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt, the author of this book, conducted an experiment to discover why divinity makes us happy. He thought oxytocin, or the love chemical, might be playing a role. So to test this, Haidt brought lactating women and their babies to the lab. If oxytocin is released in the mother's body, then she will go on to produce milk and nurse the baby. And so he put half of the women in one room to watch an elevating show from the Oprah show. And he put another half of the women in a different room to watch a stand-up comedic show. And in the end, he found that the women who are watching the elevating show produced more milk and went on to nurse their children. This confirms that oxytocin plays a role in how we feel during elevation. And because oxytocin makes us feel loved and connected, it also makes us happy. Elevation pulls us out of our ordinary and everyday concerns and connects us to something greater than ourselves. You can call it spirituality, divinity, or simply something bigger than ourselves. But regardless, the effect is undeniable. When our rider and our elephant, our rational mind and our emotional self work together towards these connections, we don't just experience fleeting happiness. We experience a life of purpose. So if happiness isn't just found in our genes, it is found in the way we live, through love, through growth, through something greater and bigger beyond us. That's the message of the happiness hypothesis. If this video gave you something new to think about, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need a lift. And let me know in the comments below which one of the 3 ingredients, love, adversity, or virtue, shaped your happiness the most. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.